Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you have not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Sleeping Warrior, Father of a Stolen Child, Neil, Brian's Logic, Eli, the Adam Meakin, 10th Man. I think I covered Brian. I think that's it. And a load of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Hey, how things? Good morning.
Morning.
Afternoon.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Good morning.
It is a very nice morning indeed. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge, that's a horizon, formerly called Earth curve?
No. But you know what's funny? It used to be the geometric horizon that proved that the Earth is not flat. If you go back on YouTube to any point in time that predates the Black Swan, you'll spot the contradictions. They're all right there. There are loads of them.
They're denying Earth curve now. That's where we're at.
Are you going to tell us any contradiction, or are we just going to guess?
Are you kidding?
Well, who, me?
Yeah, I want to hear some.
The contradiction is that
I just told you.
that's what I'm saying. Are you kidding? He just explained that their horizon is Earth curve, and their argument. If you go to a How to Debate Flat Earther website, it'll say the Earth argument as a sphere starts with the horizon, because there are certain it gets in the way of stuff. That's the edge of the Earth that's blocking your view. That's their horizon. So when they say things like no one claims the horizon is Earth curve, end quote, Tim Osman, that's them going, I decry my religious belief that the Earth's a sphere.
I thought he said loads of contradictions. I thought there was other stuff.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Arwin. Good to have you. Good show today.
Oh, there's definitely
Oh, thank you.
there's definitely some contradictions. I'm not going to say the name, but so-called documentary claiming a stripe is disappearing, even though you can still see the apparent horizon past the boat.
Yeah, that's the National Geographic
There
experiment.
we go.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll
There's a
have
good
to
one.
maybe rehash that video or something. But yeah, Black Swan. They're saying, look how much this striped flag or whatever it is on the back of this ship, or little boat actually, is being obscured by the physical geometric sphere edge horizon, which is behind the boat. So it's a black swan.
Yep. I'll do you
And
one
you can
better.
still see the stripe a little bit.
So there's a video on YouTube that I've been sharing around the last couple days, posted 4 years ago, and it's titled, actually, yeah, give me 2 seconds. I downloaded it, so
May I ask a new question?
Hold on, just give me a second.
It's titled Proving the Earth is Not Flat. Part 1, the horizon. So within this 15-minute video, every minute that passes by is an explosive blow to the modern day post-Black Swan globe earther. So that's what I mean, because he starts the video with, you know, day and night cycles, lunar eclipses, all of the, normal stuff that people, come in and try to debate us on, like with the script. But the main point of the video, after he's berated flat earthers for being so misguided and dumb, he uses the geometric horizon to prove that the earth is not flat. It's a gift. I'll share it now.
Perfect.
It is.
Was that Gregory that wanted to get a word in while he was just digging that out? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just a new question. I don't see Elijah in the live stream room, yet I hear his voice.
worry
Yeah,
about
Elijah, do you not debate flat Earth?
Okay, yeah, don't worry about that. That's just a
I
technical
can't
thing.
stand Sinclair.
Stop. Don't worry about that. I'll make a better announcement. The technical stuff, don't worry about it. The show works. That's all that matters. You can hear him. Good. Excellent. I've got an announcement for the latest Black Swan. Drumroll, please. Brought to you by Ruhif, Conspiracy Cats, and Ranty, the latest and greatest Black Swan. Now, by coincidence, they've called it a white swan, presumably because they don't understand the Karl Popper analogy. Nevertheless, I've got a video that's coming out tonight, and it's coming out at, I think it's 9:15 UK time. And it's called Cat's Big Picture is a Globe Earth Killer. Lol. It's a black swan! So check it out. It's going to be coming out on Nathan Oakley 1980 tonight. All about Earth Curve.
Nice. I actually did the math. You shouldn't see the basin of that tower at all whatsoever. I even actually gave them 40 miles in level of observer, and you still shouldn't see it. Period.
It just shows what they're like. They're bloody lazy. So you'd think if they're going to present something as a flat Earth killer, you'd verify in the first instance that it's a stone cold, matches with their maths, globe claimed to be proving a physical geometric sphere edge piece of evidence before you present it as a flat Earth killer, because then we'll just come along and go, thanks for the black swan, and shove it right in their dumb faces. You're lazy, lads. You're lazy.
I'd say bordering on dishonest. But that picture to have been presented to us as it was, and for us to then yesterday get to the realization that it was they were trying to paint a white swan after they'd cut off a quarter of the picture which showed the clear black swan. I find that more shocking, that they think we're that daft that we wouldn't find the original picture. That it talks about laziness. If you're gonna sow a little bit of a seed of spread a lie, you should at least make it a good lie, not something that can be found out quickly that you're misrepresenting the facts with a quick Google search.
Indeed. I mean, Ranty, if he's part of this, I don't really know the ins and outs or care, but from what I've been led to believe, this is some major milestone for Ranty moving back to the globe. Now, what Ranty should know, because he's been a part of it, is the way we do research. Now, yesterday, just for the audience, you got to see a little bit of that live. Not live, sorry, in the after show. So you can see us all sort of, I'm asking certain questions and trying to keep the conversation on track so I can glean as much information from the people who've actually done the research, because that's me, top quality researcher, right? But meanwhile, you know, I like to say offering a bit of management, which is my Weasley way of saying do nothing. Anyway, but there's Anthony in Google Earth. He's looking for various landmarks. There's Adam recognising various different parts of the picture that have got positions that are going to be useful for measurements. There's QE going to Google Earth, making the measurements and drawing out geometric non-existent horizons and putting them through the Black Swan modus tollens. Everyone, apart from me, really, is pulling their weight. But you got to see that. I mean, I presented it. There you go. If it wasn't for me being here, you would have seen that, which comes out later on tonight. So check that out. It comes out after that video. So I've trimmed out a little bit for those of you who can't sit through a very long video. But today's Uncut and After show on my second channel is all of that process that we went through yesterday. And Ranty, that's my point, was part of that at one stage. He saw how we did all of that. Now, as I say, that's only a small taste. That's the kind of thing that happens off camera that people don't necessarily appreciate. Whereas in this instance, the fact that they've published it in the way we have, and we've just looked at it and gone, Black Swan, just really highlights how lazy they are and how little they actually do in terms of checking and double checking and verifying that what they're going to put out into the public doesn't actually destroy their own rhetoric. You'd think they'd check that, but they clearly haven't. Very amusing.
Well, from looking at it yesterday, Nathan, after the after show, we garnered that the actual photographer's position was a little bit more up the road at this little jetty, at the right of this little jetty. And Anthony says he knows the place, he can go down there as well. And from what we could model on Google Earth, to get the angles that are shown in the photograph, he would have more likely have to have been there. And I reckon, I don't know yet, but I reckon his observer height was even lower. So, and either way, from that shore to the shore on the left, it's a 30 straight mile line shot. Maybe a bit more, just as a basic 30.
No. I was just going to say, we just need someone who has a Twitter account right now to volunteer to contact the photographer, because he has a Twitter account, contact information. And none of us yesterday on the show had a Twitter account. Just to ask him the specifics.
Well, I mean, that's all well and good, but like Anthony, proactive as he was, he's here. So are you actually at your mic at a pertinent moment, Anthony, this time? Maybe not. Probably not, let's be honest.
It was like watching him in the old days yesterday, Nathan. He was flying over that stuff to the left. It was like going back over the Isle of Man stuff. He's flying over the Google Earth trying to identify spots.
Careful, Adam. Don't blow too much smoke off his ass, because I'm about to sort of pour that fire out. My suggestion.
I just said it was very.
Oh, it was.
My memory lane.
Right, let's just agree with you first. Oh, wow, it was. It gives me goosebumps talking about it. Watching Anthony on form is something to behold, because he's like a dog with a bit between his whatever it's. I've forgotten the analogy. Doesn't matter. He was very enthusiastic, and yes,
bit between his teeth.
Bit between his teeth, right? But the tables have turned, Anthony. 2020, 1st Jan, Black Swan. Now we're in a position to do all of the things that they did to you, and I'm going to make it as personal as I can. So when you were charged with getting measurements, getting this, getting that, getting the other, you're all keen now to run out and go to the location, which you know, but don't, in my opinion, well, I'm not telling you what to do. I wouldn't, if it was me, do that. I would start charging them to do it, like they did to us, if you remember. So this is now our reversed tables Isle of Man, and lean on all of the things that were occurring to us at the time, all the things we were lent on to gather and glean. Just charge them with it. Don't go running and doing it yourself. There's no need, right? This thing's dead in the water, so why entertain it at all? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to go and do it just for fun, but don't make it like a data gathering exercise in any way. You know, set them to go out and say, I've been out there, I'm not claiming it, I've managed to get out there. Use it to bully them with, as opposed to something you need to be going out and measuring. You know what I mean?
I have some reality to throw into that in a moment.
I agree. I remember when I put in the observation height that I did my Isle of Man thing at, and I only did it based on Google Earth, because what other reference have you got? I did Google Earth, and I noticed that yesterday when we were doing the little bit of digging in what they were claiming, somebody had claimed 19 feet observer height. And I'm like, 19 feet? The water's like right there with you. It's like, there's no way that's 19 feet. I thought, where have they got that number from? And I spotted it was on Google Earth. So they'd done the exact same thing that I did back with the Isle of Man. They've just picked the figure that best suited, or the figure that they've got something to go with. But I know for a fact that that's like, if it's 6 feet, that's all it is, because he's on the wetlands. It looks like he's on the wetlands. So I realized that, yeah, there's no point in like rushing out and doing this. This is their claim. Let's just do, like you say, let's do back to them what they were doing to me, and then ask them for the atmospheric conditions and how much light there was, and pressure and turbulence and humidity and all that kind of stuff, because it's their claim. It's glorious.
Well, I have to throw something in there that may not be, well, it'll be popular enough, but it won't be. It's reality. They're not going to do any of that. They're just going to keep on showing that photograph with hashtag thanks Ranty or hashtag thanks Bev, whatever. And that's what they're going to do. Just like they did with Bob's gyro. Because they didn't go and get a gyro themselves and do any of that. This photograph is not theirs. They didn't go take it. They're just going to use something that someone else did and claim it as proof and never do anything about it. Just keep on trying to put it up in your face. And that's all they're going to try to do. That's what they've tried to do.
That's
they
okay,
are
Brian.
not going to go and get any measurements.
That's okay.
Right?
That's okay, because we've experienced what they did to us in exactly the same circumstances. It wasn't fun, but we'll have total justification for our behaviour in exactly the same manner when charging them with backing their own evidence that they're claiming. And yeah, if you want to say, well, the majority of their trolls will just accept it blindly and tell us that they've won. Yeah, they do that when they've lost an argument, Brian. so what?
Well, I'm just pointing out that if you're waiting for them to do anything about this, they won't. Because the best they've got is what they have. Because if they go out and do any more, they'll make it even worse on themselves. They already tried to clip out the part on the left that shows a 30-mile stretch across to another shoreline. So anything more than that will only make it worse. So they'll do same way as if they went off and got a gyro and they found out they wasn't getting a 15-degree-an-hour drift. Then what would they say? Would they tell anyone? No. So whatever they do, we won't see anything of it if they do anything, unless it supports their position, because they never bring out honesty.
Yeah, but the other thing that we can point out is that the only person that's going to be arguing in favour of this picture is Ranty. There won't be any ball earthers that will argue it. Why? Well, let's just say it's a tactical ploy or a tactical move so that one person is responsible who's not really on their side, let's be honest. And if it turns out that it didn't do what they thought it did, then he gets the blame. But no baller's going to be arguing this argument for their argument. It's just not going to happen. But I'd like to see what's his name? Rumpus. I'd like to see him come in and argue in favour of it, because he'll just get decimated.
Yeah, if I may, can I break down the math?
Go on, whoever that was in Discord.
If I may break down the maths, right? So the distance to the so-called tower is supposed to be 19 miles away, right? So the eye level was 29 feet. That's 6.6. The geometric horizon. The obscured object will be 102 feet. The tower is 60 or 70 meters. You should not be able to see that. I'll give them actually 35 feet. It'll be 110
feet. That's as high as a house. Right?
Yeah, that's it was 19 foot they have down on their diagram, and that just came straight off Google. And when and the actual high line, I guarantee, is way lower to the ground.
But this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, Dungio, right? So yeah, you just need to go and present it to them in a little comment, and then we'll maybe moan about the fact that they're deleting these comments. And so it goes on. Like I say, we've experienced it firsthand, but now the tables are turned. They're having to proactively go out and try and debunk flat Earth. Why would that be necessary? I thought all arguments started with the horizon, but clearly not. There are horizons proving how wrong the sphere claim is in this exact example. So do you not think we're going to turn the screws on them? Of course.
If I may, just real quick. Again, they didn't take the picture. We have the photographer's name. We have the photographer's Twitter account. Someone please contact the photographer with a Twitter account, ask him where he took it, at what level. Then, when they say it's whatever feet, we'll say, well, did you ask the photographer where he took it? Because we did.
Yeah, we need to get the exact location as well.
Even then, if he says, just for argument's sake, that it was like, say, 6 feet above the water, they'll still add on another 15 feet because they'll put on the biggest tripod possible and the biggest pair of shoes possible and the biggest anything to get that elevation up. But they need to get it to about 100 feet before there's a conversation there. They are so far behind, it's unbelievable.
I think they need to go and measure it a bit more accurately, like with a tape measure. That sounds familiar, eh? We need to get an accurate measurement. If you're going to start claiming angles, then we're going to need to know exactly how high.
Nathan, I'm not going to be happy with just a claim of measurement. I want to see pictures of you taking the measurements. Please.
Damn right. I want them to stretch out a bit of string and do the trig.
And I just want to add as well, not like Miles Lite Davis, where he doesn't do the 360. You've got to do that 360 in slow as well, so we can see.
It's a unique opportunity. I thought this would just never come up again, right? But the Isle of Man is now suddenly under massive amounts of scrutiny again. Because suddenly, the argument we were making during the Isle of Man, which is angular size, which was completely ignored and justified that it's geometric. the very thing they're now saying they haven't got and doesn't exist. But just for reference, that's the argument back in the day. And now they're appreciative of the fact that things get smaller with distance. Excellent. Other than that completely alters the outcome of the Isle of Man discussion. When we beg the question, aren't we nice, begging your question? Of course, we've debunked that now. But it does absolutely render that argument a total loss for the globe in every single respect. Because when you apply angular size reduction, Anthony covered it at the end of the discussion. The double dip effect, I think you'll find. We've got it all documented, lads. We've covered this. Oh, how screwed you are when the tables turn. Black Swan, baby.
This photo is adequate evidence to prove that the Earth is a flat plane, regardless of whether or not you know who took the photo. Correct?
Yeah, it really makes the difference with just being dicks because they were dicks to us.
No, the problem is the photo they show is not the actual full photo that's in the magazine. It's been cropped. When you look at the full photo and you look to the left, it's a black swan. They didn't want to show you that.
Of course they don't.
Yeah.
Even if it didn't, though, I don't think it matters in terms of our scrutiny.
It was quite good last night. I raised this point on Brandon's, and what he did was he went and took it into Photoshop and just chopped off that last bit where you can actually see the shore and the water stretching out further into the distance. And he just chopped it and then just dragged it across to line up the two shorelines. And you can see that 30-mile difference between the shore at Blackpool and the shore in the far distance is probably 4 or 5 mil. Do you know what I mean? In the picture, in terms of how it's contained and compressed within that short area. But you can also see that the shoreline sits higher, further back in terms of perspective than the front shoreline. You can see it's raised, yeah.
That's right. That was very good. He just copied and pasted it over, and it really did show. Like if you took away Blackpool altogether, it would just be like one big flat plane all the way across to the other shoreline.
I mean, it's epic and it's a great picture too. I mean, I'm not knocking Isle of Man pictures, but you know, the lighthouse was a smudge, and what we've got in this, although the white swan that they've labelled it's being burnt alive by the black swan with a knife in its mouth, but nevertheless, that's where the big one, the Pepsi Max big one, it was called when I was a kid. Now it's probably just the big one, and Blackpool Tower. I mean, it is a really epic picture. I'm glad this is the new version of the Isle of Man for that reason, because it's quite beautiful.
It's on screen, Nathan.
Who's barking? Is it your dog or Anthony's?
Oh, squirrel. I'll mute, but it's on screen for you.
I've got it up anyway on the live stream, but I'll just take it off because it's got a black swan killing a white swan.
No, it's where it's cropped it, look, and then dragged that end section that they hid into the middle, and you can see, look, the height of the shoreline.
Keep it up a second. I'll just see if I can get it framed a little bit nicer so it's a bit bigger. Bear with me just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Anybody else got any comment on this? There we go.
Well, yeah, essentially what they're doing by cropping off the left-hand side of the image is they're allowing you to think that the horizon is significantly higher than it actually is, because you think the horizon is going to be somewhere where the buildings are on the right-hand side, somewhere just below the buildings. But when you see where the horizon actually is and how much of that mountain and the topography of the land behind it is visible, you realize that there's nothing missing. Yeah, it's a bit compressed and it's a bit blurred because it's so far away because angular size and limitations to vision. But you realize that you're seeing way below. It's like you're seeing down to the beach. That is the beach. It's just compressed. It's still all there.
There's more than that. I've just been thinking. What we're seeing over at Blackpool, right, which is from the given 19-foot viewer height they gave us, and the distance across to the shore at Blackpool, that would mean that the geometric horizon, according to what they gave us, would be just over around that shore somewhere, where it's kind of undiscernible. But when you look at the other side, the horizon is higher. Why? Because the geometric horizon that they're trying to claim that would be over near the shore of Blackpool there, right, that would be kind of slightly undiscernible and we could argue about. It's obvious that the other one is obviously, the other shoreline there is obviously higher. So that means the horizon's gone way past that, which means there is an ultimate black swan, because it proves without a shadow of a doubt that the horizon is not where they need it to be. It's way off, and this is not even water. That's across land, I think, with the water after mostly gone out.
Yeah,
It
that's the
doesn't
key
really
point.
matter though it doesn't matter if it's a mile past it, or 20 miles past it, or 100 miles. It's past where they need it to be.
Yeah, that is the
I like
key
to
point. The horizon's in the wrong place for their model, regardless of the perceived elevation of the mountains in the background. That horizon is their problem.
Yeah, it's higher. It's higher in the background. And Brandon just took the thing and put it over. He was just messing around with it, and he just caught. And I just caught it right now. The significance of it. It wasn't just that it was higher. It's the fact that it's obviously, because it's higher, that it's way, way further than where their geometric horizon would be. So this is you don't even have to talk about the Blackpool Tower. It's the horizon on the left and the horizon that they are looking for it to be, where they're looking for it to be at Blackpool. That's why they cropped it, because they wanted us to argue with them about this horizon, geometric horizon that may or may not be at Blackpool.
I agree. They're trying to say, look over here to the. Let's talk about the angular size of Blackpool Tower, completely ignoring where the horizon is and where it's not meant to be on their model, and it's clearly miles out.
Okay, before Discord, I just want to make a summary. So they require a geometric horizon. It's their R-value derivative, and the horizon in this image isn't their geometric R-based horizon. It's beyond the limitations of Earth with sphere geometry, putting a horizon at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Now, the fact that they've cropped off that bit of the image, we won't even get into. That's the people, not the argument. But ultimately speaking, this is a black swan. It demonstrates that the horizon's beyond the geometric limitations of Earth as a sphere.
Yeah, and Blackpool acts as a bit like the oil rigs. Blackpool acts as a nice marker for us. We know it's Blackpool's further than the geometric horizon, but this bit of cropping here that we've shown shows that the actual visible horizon, when not obscured by Blackpool, goes further than Blackpool. So we know it's significantly further than their supposed geometric, because it's further than Blackpool. So
Do you know what?
Black Swan.
Do you know what I thought you were going to say then? I thought you were going to say that Blackpool's acting like the oil platforms, in the sense that it's a distraction, because they would always say things like, "Look at how bendy the cranes are on the oil platforms."
It is, isn't it? You're right, because all it is a distance marker for us. That's all we need it for. It says that Blackpool's further than their geometric horizon, and we can see that our visible horizon is further than Blackpool. So, Black Swan.
Better again, they stated very clearly that there's no refraction in this photo. They stated that very clearly.
Isn't it amazing? They can make refraction do whatever they want.
I think
they claimed there was no refraction.
Well, Brian, I think there's from what I gleaned yesterday when it was all explained to me without me doing any research or work whatsoever, I gleaned that when you presented it, you showed the triangles that they were using in order to claim the angular resolution. Well, as soon as they start introducing refraction, not only are they bending the light that they're trying to actually measure in terms of the target, but also where they're going to get actual triangles from. So in that case, they've just got to say, no, let's keep it without refraction so that doesn't become a complication for this straight line requiring maths when debunking or claiming to be debunking a flat Earth claim. I also had a little think on that. So who's making the claim? Well, Walter Bislin does the same thing. He sticks an angular size calculator next to a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. So what? You stick the comparison with a completely different geometry. Why would you do that? Well, because they need to do a false comparison. Well, you're claiming that it's just angular size reduction at distance. No, we've got a massive list of things. Half of them was put on the list by Ranty. So there's a whole bunch of factors. The fact that your list has one thing, Earth curve, in a geometric, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, doesn't mean that we have one thing that we assert, quite the contrary. But that's what a straw man does. Hold up one thing that they're going to say we claim. No, we don't. One factor in a whole bunch that you've ignored. but you're going to use that as a straw man. Not only do it, but do it with a black swan. Epic. Hold up a straw man, and the very straw man you're holding up is a black swan that destroys the globe. Just priceless stupidity on every level.
Wasn't this called a white swan?
Yeah, they even named it. Even their name demonstrates that they don't understand why the black swan is called the black swan with a Karl Popper analogy in mind. Calling it a white swan, if some guy comes from the sidelines and starts hearing about them talking about white swans, they can just think, what the bloody hell are they babbling about? Unless someone sits them down and says, no, the flat earthers that we're contesting actually understand that there's a Karl Popper analogy where if you're asserting that all swans are white, you only need one black swan to show it's not. And they're using the analogy because you're claiming that all horizons are earth curve edges and they block things with their physical nature. And we only need to show once that it's beyond the geometric limitations to show that it's not earth curve. And that's what we've done. That's why the horizon in that image, and now this one, which is being made famous by Three Stooges, is also going to be used as exactly the same comparison. But this one's on land, doesn't it? Got a load of special things. Pretty too. Lovely jubbly.
It is a kind of the worst analogy to use, isn't it? To state the white swan even means you don't understand the purpose of it, or you're making a clear statement that what you're about to claim is false. Because you're describing it as something that is to be disproven by the black swan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It works for us.
That's what I'm saying. if someone comes from the sidelines, Adam, and I should have dropped that in, and know the Karl Popper analogy, they'll hear white swan, and you go, okay, so when it's explained in context, you're saying this is a white swan, so you're the person in the analogy saying all swans are white and being disproven. That's so stupid.
The worst.
Okay, we've had half an hour on...
One second.
Go on.
The white swan thing came from Bev. Bev just said, it's just a white swan. What he meant is it's just on any normal photograph. And they took that white swan thing and tried to claim the normal is a globe.
Saying it in that context is right, Brian, isn't it? If Bev said, it's just a white swan, it's just a photo that doesn't comport, you are using it in the correct term. But to claim I've got a white swan as if you've got a gold medal or something, that's the...
Yeah, but it isn't. Am I missing something?
Am I
missing something? It isn't a white swan in any context, and to call it makes you either stupid, can't comprehend the actual argument, or you're literally saying this argument is part of the analogy that's proven wrong.
Yes, that's what I mean. He's saying it's part of the analogy that's proven wrong. I think is what Bev was saying.
Well, did Bev see the whole picture? Did Bev see the whole picture or just the crop version?
I don't know about that, but he just called it a white swan. He just said, it's just a white swan, just like a normal photograph.
I'd like to
one at a time.
Is this the same photo? Because, I thought that Bev's son took this picture.
No, he didn't. That's a different picture of a similar setting, but from a different person.
Oh, okay.
So, no, the picture on screen is taken by I don't know if he's famous or not, but a photographer that's professional and it's for sale. It's $25. Go and buy it. It's lovely. I'd like it. It's lovely. If someone wants to buy it for me because I'm poor. But nevertheless, it's a great picture. Again, I'm not going to pour salt on an old wound, but it's much better than what we've debated with before. Now, when we debated before, in this context, angular size versus feet and inches in Muppet Vision, where this will be compared to maths with the side of your own head in it. Where's the side of the guy's head, by the way? Oh, it's not in it. Just want to make that clear. But when we were debating about it, we begged the question alongside them and assumed the Earth's sphere radius 3959 with their assumption of refraction based on R. Now we don't do any of that. But this is also epic because it's a black swan. It just makes me laugh so bad.
Can I say something?
You know what? Go ahead.
If we just leave them alone, they'll do all the work for us.
We'll be demanding it of them, Neil. And if they don't do it, I don't care, because how much effort for me to say to them, go and measure the actual height? How much effort did that take?
No, I'm just saying, they just keep talking and looking, and they just keep proving that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, but they know that
Well,
we're
there's a
here
good
discussing it. While they might not come here and tell us how wrong we are with this crappy little proof, see, they are on the sidelines watching and hearing, and it stings, man. I know it stings. I got John here to tell me just how bad it stings. I'm so glad John's part of the team. Good to have you, by the way, John.
Me too.
Wait,
So
do you think this is what the plan for this week was? They'd unveil this and we'd go Black Swan and fall about laughing.
And kill us.
Or Ranty's an evil genius. And if he was to turn around at this point and say, look, right, I suckered them into presenting this. We got it all famous. We got it all genned up. And it's actually a black swan. And laughed his tits off. He would redeem it would be the only circumstance he could redeem all credibility, other than seeming like he's lying to both sides in all circumstances, always, which is how it looks at the moment. But if he was to turn around and say, yeah, double jeopardy, mate, I knew it was a black swan, then he might just redeem some credibility. I don't know. We'll see.
Are there any ballers actually arguing this other than Ranty?
We tried to ask that yesterday. QE did. He was like, who's championing this? Anybody in the Discord server? I mean, I haven't recently checked if everyone's off mute, but I will now.
Hi, Nathan. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, whoever you are. Flat Earth Solar, go ahead.
Solar. The video with Ranty, he claims boldly that this has converted him, that he's firmly back on the ball side. He drew a little tape measure next to the mountain and took little millimeter markings on the tape measure to show the height of the mountain. He was completely sold by this image. So
how could that not be trolling?
Who else is championing it other than Ranty?
Okay, we know the score with Ranty, but thank you, Solar. Okay,
but I just want to add about the Bev.
We know that already. Solar, hold on. Hold on. We know all this already, and same with Bev. So is there any new data in what you're about to present? Because if not, we're trying to find out if anyone else is championing
just
this
one
information.
Piece.
Go ahead.
No, just one piece. It was Bev. Ranty said that Bev went to the location and took a photo again and provided that secondary piece of information. And that was the smoking gun to Ranty, because now we had it on 2 times where they had this image, and therefore it proved that it was a common occurrence that supported the ball drop.
Hold on. Supported ball drop. So at some point it is being asserted that needs to be presented here so that we've got the full breadth of this claim, because that is exactly as I assumed it was being presented, as a claim of a proof of a sphere requiring begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking, Earth curve calculator. Perspective hijacking because it takes angular sizes, the thing they're obviously aware of, and ignores them, and ascribes things like feet and inches to the tower. How many feet and inches are missing from the mountain? Which excludes the angular relationships. Things get smaller with distance. That's excluded when they make it as a globe claim. Now you're saying Ranty's made it as a globe claim from what I've just gleaned from what you've just told me. So that needs to be... I'm saying that needs to be seen. Well, this is me being the lazy researcher where I expect it to now be presented to me. But nevertheless, maybe that's my skill, because I am broadcasting.
Yeah, I watched
we get
all of
into
it
this,
quite in disbelief.
One of them does want to.
Hold on, we've got 2 people
sorry
talking.
about the boss.
One or the other. Just Flat Earth Solar or who's Eli? Who's going? One of you.
I think it was just background sound with Eli.
Oh. Go ahead,
Okay,
Solar.
so really quick, I just want to say that this is just yet another major way to show that they hold contradictory positions. But how the hell can you say there's no refraction? I mean, if I was a globe earther, how could you say after this past year that there's no refraction?
Okay. We will come back to that. And Solar, do you want to just finish off your point, and then we'll get back to Anthony, who's been waiting for ages to ask his question.
I've been waiting.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, go ahead, Solar.
Sorry,
And you,
Brian. That he was basically saying that the mountain in the background has dropped, and they're calling it ball drop, and that this proof that the tower in the foreground being higher than the mountain in the background proves the mountain's dropped, and it's in accordance with exactly what you'd presume the ball to have done. And
So,
that's the
okay.
retardedness.
Perfect. So when they say assumed to be as the ball would state, or however they've phrased it, that means in line with the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking. Earth curve calculator then. Excellent. So when I thought I'd got it wrong yesterday and I assumed that and I stated that it was incorrect in that assumption, I was not. They absolutely are asserting it with a feet and inches value for towers that will be dropping behind an Earth curve reified physical sphere edge. We've debunked. And not only that, this picture debunks it. Epic. Brian, go ahead and then we'll get to Anthony and his cast net in terms of...
Hold on, Nathan. Nathan, we have Bev. He's here right now.
Wonderful, wonderful.
This guy knows.
Perfect. Bev, I was going to get in touch with you.
Bev is here.
Yeah, I was going to get in touch with him, but we have got a queue. But I was going to get in touch with you, Bev, to ask for your presence, so I can't believe you're here. Brilliant. Excellent. But Brian, then Anthony, then Bev. Thank you for joining, Bev.
Okay, I'll be quick. This is the first thing I noticed yesterday when I saw this information. Was distance to object, which would be, they're talking about Blackpool Tower, is 12.2 miles. Outside level, they call it, 19.1 feet. It was a claim of that the photographer was 13.1 feet or something like that, and they added 6 foot on for the tripod, right, as they do, as Anthony said. Then the distance to horizon was 5.35 miles. Now, I went and I measured from the exact location with the exact height that they gave over to Blackpool, and it was just slightly over 5 miles to the shoreline, or straight across the Blackpool. And the problem was this 0.35 miles was all kind of wishy-washy and undeterminable. Sorry. So it was like vague. It was all really vague, right? Right. I'm just going to show where. Where's the other photo? Here. So they were. 1 second. Now it's going to zoom in. Right. Right. They were showing over here, and this 0.35 was in here somewhere, in this kind of vague grey area. It's like you couldn't really argue with him about the geometric horizon in there, because that's where that should have started, and this is all not clear, right? But they then kept the argument, right? So I'm just going to show again, their elevation, right, oil line elevation, right, just happened to just match the 5.35 miles that would put their geometric horizon into this heap of nonsense over here. And then they started arguing about the sky, because that's what they did, isn't it? They're arguing about what's going on up in the sky. But over here, you have the real horizon way off in the distance, going up further than their horizon. And they hid that part. This whole section here was hid. And more, the whole section here, like this, was hid, right? And on top of that, as well as hiding that, they go over here claiming there is no refraction. So they cannot even claim there's refraction here, because they already claimed there wasn't. When the Black Swan, they claim there's a load of refraction, right? Not that it matters, but I'm just saying that's what their claim is. But over here, now on this photograph, they already claimed there was no refraction, and they've already debunked their own globe. So they have no argument. Sorry, I just wanted to point that out.
Brian, that's
hold on, Adam, hold on.
That data you presented lines up with what they wanted to. It goes into that fuzzy zone, so it's not argument. And that's why that side was cut off, because it provides the data that just demolishes the ambiguity in the claim.
Perfect,
we need to know who it was that cropped off that left-hand side. Somebody's done that. Who was that? And I'll just give way to Bev. I want to hear what Bev has got to say.
Well, even though, okay, I'll introduce Bev in a second, but you were asking who's championing this, who's out there on the circuit actually promoting this and arguing this, and it came up yesterday. We'll brush past it, but I wanted the question to be asked again. That was all. It didn't necessarily. It can be rhetorical.
Yeah, other than Ranty, who's pushing this?
Perfect. I've opened up the just before we get Bev in, I've opened up the public chat. So if you do want to chat from the public, if you're watching this live right now, then you can as we introduce Bev. Are you there, Bev? I haven't actually said hello to you yet.
Yeah, man.
Excellent.
Too loud in the background there. The washing machine's going. All right.
Well, as I said earlier, I was going to invite you to come based on the fact that my understanding was that your son had taken a picture that's very similar. Is that correct?
Yeah. We saw the original video done by Kat at last weekend or something. Maybe it came out Saturday, Sunday. And as we saw it, it's like, oh, that's close to where we because we normally go a little bit further down on Southport Beach. That's where we took the sunset picture, just a bit down the way there. So it's like, oh, we recognise that, but the picture looked a bit, there was something wrong about the picture. So we just went, as soon as my lad finished school, it was like, come on, let's go and have a look, and we'll go and take a few pictures, So we went down there, tried to get it at sunset-ish time, because when you look at that other picture, the mountains are like obviously at sunset when you know where the sun's going down. The mountains and the shadows are definitely. Yeah, and then the Blackpool was like darkly lit, and it just didn't seem right to me. So we went there to go and take a picture was to see the Lytham and Blackpool, Lytham St Anne's seafront, to see how the light hit that. And as you can see in the picture that I've put in the chat there,
hold on,
it's
just
lit.
1 second, Bev. Just 1 sec. Who's presenting at the moment? Is it Brian? Any chance, Brian, that you can?
Yeah, I stopped sharing it.
Yeah, I just want someone to actually bring up Bev's picture now, so we've got a stark contrast. So now the picture we've just seen is from the artist whose name I can't forget to credit. I'm really sorry. Someone else can credit.
Kevin Jackson, Nathan.
Say it again, please.
Kevin Jackson, I think his name is.
Kevin Jackson's picture, and now we're going to transition to Bev's picture, if Brian's good enough to present it for us, or anybody else.
The one before Ranty did what Ranty did when he put it with the other one, because Ranty darkened it. He did all whatever Ranty did with it. I mean, I was going there to show them
on Skype and I presented. Sorry.
Oh, Adam's got it. It's okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, just bear with me a second.
I can get you some more if you want.
No, it's all good. I just need to do a bit of admin. Just bear with me a second, Bev. If you can just zoom in a little bit for us, Adam, please.
I've just pulled that out of
Open original.
Discord. Yeah, I'll open original. Cool.
Oh, dance. Oh. Maybe leave it at that scale and just put it on a bit that's nice, and I'll get it. That'll do. That'll do. Just leave it with the big one and perfect.
There's the marker, look.
Okay, we've got it up and we've got it focused on the section to the left with the marker and the big one on the right. Okay, go ahead, Bev.
So see the way that Lytham and Blackpool seafront and all of the houses where the big massive refraction is, that's all lit up. You can see it. It's lit up, obviously, not like a dark black line that is on the other photo. So that's all we went there for, was to, make sure that Blackpool's lit up. Because when I looked at it initially, I mean, if I still look at it now, Blackpool looks like a sunrise Blackpool, all misty and dark. And as you can see, the sunset Blackpool is all lit. All of those houses along that seafront are gleaming. There's little lights. It's sparkling. It's as though you can see the reflection in the windows of the cars running down the seafront. And there's all sorts of sparkles. It's not dark. So that's all we went there for. And when I initially showed Ranty that picture, that's what I was trying to convey to him. I said, that other picture looks too sharp. It's too crisp. It's like a professional photo, like it's been touched up.
Well, it is a professional photo. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
So Bev, was I correct that it was near sunset?
Yeah, that's because the mountains in the background, I had to go and try and replicate the shadows and the time that the shadows on the mountains in the background of the original picture, to go and check that Blackpool isn't dark. But I mean, people have told me since that because the mountains are white, that will darken Blackpool. I don't believe it.
Can I just point out that historically, all earthers would always tell us that when you go anywhere near sunset, that is where the most amount of refraction would be. But now, conveniently, because it suits their model, they're now saying that there's no refraction. I don't think so, guys.
Right.
Can't have it both ways.
You see the GIF that we put in as well. There's we took a time lapse of 30 minutes just before sunset to see what happens, and It's like Skunk Bay.
Hold on a second. This is perfect. Oh, I'm sure the guy who did Skunk Bay likes dishing out copyright strikes, but that is perfect because it essentially shows, not in real time, but in something you can watch in real time, their horizon moving around, destroying their model.
That's
but
30 minutes.
Okay, let's just get that sorted. Sorry, there's going to be a delay. People watching live. This is how it is. Who's presenting now? Adam, please, can you, if I take you off screen for a second, can you go and dig out that GIF? This is epic. I'm so glad you've joined it. Almost telepathic. Adam, can you get this up or not?
Well, that's
I've got
the
it.
stuff we've been
Hold on,
doing.
Bev. Sorry. Just one sec, Bev. I just want to sort out the admin, then we'll get your opinions again.
Was it this one with these swans and?
Yeah, if you can get it up and get it scaled, I'll pop it back up, your screen back on once you've got it. Just let me know.
Okay.
I don't know yet. You tell me.
I think I've got Ranty and Cats in a White Swan. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, let's ignore the GIF, the comedic overlay. What are we looking at? Please don't interrupt in people in G+. Can you tell us what we're looking at, please, Bev?
This is a time lapse of 30 minutes just before sunset, because as we finish this, we turn the camera to film the sunset. So this is as the sun's going down. It's getting cooler just before sunset, and a 30-minute time lapse. And you can see the distortion occurring within Blackpool Tower. It's as if you see the proper one, it's stretching like an accordion. From the bottom up, like the whole image is lifting and compressing and all.
If you could get this on a clear
what you're
day,
doing is you're looking over
day so that the mountains are in the background.
Hold on, guys.
Be able to
just wait till the end, Anthony. Just let him get his piece out, and then all questions will let loose. But just let Bev get to the end. Thank you.
It's stretching of it as it's getting cooler. Everything's lifting. The purpose of this was to show Ranty that you can't measure an angle to any of that. It's useless. Nobody ever does that sort of thing. In reality, the only people that measure this sort of pictures and put rulers on pictures are people in these Discord servers. In reality, it's not ever done. Nobody ever measures those angles. In fact, everybody that's dealing with these pictures, they're taking the numbers from somewhere else and then calculating an angle. I don't know. It's crazy to me.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add before I get Anthony's chomping at the bit?
No, go on.
Go ahead, Anthony.
What we need is on a clearer day when the mountains in the background are more visible, so it's a bit more like Skunk Bay. Obviously, Skunk Bay is taken at elevation. This is taken at sea level. What you'll be able to demonstrate is that the mountains in the background will do exactly the same as the mountains on Skunk Bay do, which appear to breathe because they're moving up and down. And the middle ground, which would be the tower in this case, is also going to be breathing. They're both independent. They're both deviating from straight lines, not curves, straight lines, deviation from straight. And because it changes from point to point to point along the ray of light, that's the reason why they're going to be up and down. And you can't make any... When they claim that there's no refraction here, it's nonsense. Of course there's refraction. We're in the refractive layer, so we are going to be distorted by it. But it's just astonishing that they'll believe.
Hold on, whoever's. Hold on. Is that it, Anthony? Because I just want to make a point to that, and then Brian.
It's just astonishing that they will claim, because it's convenient for their model, that there's no refraction after previously saying that there's the most refraction during the day. But it's like this all day, every day, anyway.
Okay, so Bev, correct me if I'm wrong. Unless it's just me imagining it, am I drawing my mouse along the line of the mountains behind, and they look like they are doing precisely what Anthony just described?
That's what I was going to say, Nate. Them mountains are breathing.
The whole
I can
image
see
is
that.
moving, yeah.
I was going to say, Anthony, maybe it's just the way you've got your screen set up, but from what I'm looking at, I can see the mountains behind moving at a slightly different rate, almost like they've got a parallax with all of the rest of the whole image moving. It's like...
Have you seen the image? Because there's like 10 miles across to the bay to Blackpool, and then there's like maybe a mile or so of land from the front to Blackpool Tower. then just beyond Blackpool Tower, there's another 30 miles of Morecambe Bay. So there's another band of water that can affect the atmosphere behind Blackpool Tower and the mountains behind. So it's not surprising that they're all independent.
But there's another additional point to be aware of here. This is a northerly observation. Me and Ranty went and did an observation where he was looking north through an estuary and I was looking south, and we were both meant to be looking at each other. Now, he could see me clearly, but he said to me, he said, "Can you see the cargo ship on the horizon?" I couldn't even see the cargo ship on the horizon. That was halfway because I was looking south. So we both have very, very, very different observation standards at that time. Yet he could see me clearly. I couldn't even see the boat on the horizon halfway between the two of us. So it's like, just be aware that because this is a northerly observation, you can expect better clarity when looking north. This is an ideal observation. We should spend more time doing this. It's brilliant.
Or charging them too. Sorry, is there anybody that's going to champion this just before we sort of transition to the after?
Yes. Bev, do you get the understanding of why I asked to use a drone? If you have a drone or Bev has a drone?
No, I said Ranty's got a drone. He could go there to Blackpool Tower.
Perfect. Charge Ranty to do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it. I mean, like, we went there to go and check and take a picture. Now, we have found this Skunk Bay effect. And I said, my lad was well chuffed when he seen that. He's like, well, we can definitely go there on a better day and film for longer. And you will see a better effect than that. We will be able to get definitely a good effect, showing exactly how much he's moving around. And can I also say, Ranty's never said anything to me yet. He's never asked us where we were. He's never asked us what camera we were using or what focal length it was or what temperature it was. It's really strange that Ranty's just took a picture that we posted to show that the lighting effect was wrong. And he's using that as a proof for, I don't know what he says it's proof of a globe Earth, and I think that's fantastic for somebody who's supposedly done 5 years.
Yeah,
so, Ranty, anytime you want to come and have a chat about the pictures we take or whatever, I mean, I can't understand why Ranty hasn't been and took this picture himself. He's meant to have a camera. Why is he using Facebook and somebody else's picture? Why is he not going there? He only lives just down the road. It's 13 miles away.
I mean, Bev's gone to it. Bev's gone and done it. I mean, what's wrong with you lazy buggers? Anyway, I'm going to say a massive thank you to Bev for coming on because he's almost telepathic. I wanted to get in touch to get him on to do exactly what he's done today. So a massive thank you to you, Bev. Thank you very much.
Can I say something to Bev real quick?
You can, but you'll have to do it in the after show. I'm really sorry. So with that, I'm going to say if you are watching on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels. I've been Nathan Oakley. See you in the after show.
What a lovely day!